Part 2 of the Update 9.7 refines will cover remixes for Legendary Nanna and Mythic Embla. We then have one last regular refine for Fallen Dimitri. Legendary Nanna is an offensive sword cap whose entire niche is piercing all percent DR skills and denying defensive specials. Unfortunately, the current state of the game just has a lot of unpierceable percent DR, as Nanna adapted to modern times. Lance Sword didn't receive any major changes. It grants +3 attack, with +6 attack and speed in combat. Nanna gets full with no follow-up, she pierces all non-special percent DR skills, and she prevents defensive specials from triggering. She will also heal after combat. For the refine effect, each turn if near an ally, Nanna grants low and hexblade to herself and those allies. If initiating or near an ally, Nanna gets bonus attack and speed equal to 6 plus the number of allies within 3 rows or columns times 2. Have 3 allies in range for +12 attack and speed. In addition, Nanna deals true damage equal to 20% speed. The Lancer refine is okay, but it didn't really address the fact Nanna's DR piercing niche is not that useful at the moment. Basically, we've hit a point where offensive specials are more defensive than defensive specials due to the unpierceable 40% DR secondary effect. Nanna has no way to stop that, so she's resorted to just brute forcing with more damage. Low, Hexblade, +12 attack and speed, speed-based true damage. Nothing wrong with these perks, but nothing out of the ordinary. Now for her Hother ZO2 remix, it's got some additions. This B skill enables near trace 3 conto and each turn it inflicts -7 speed and defense plus exposure onto the closest enemies, plus it spreads out after. Nanna would deal true damage equal to 20% attack, and she inflicts -5 speed and defense in combat while neutralizing attack and speed debuffs. Last up, Nanna has any HP desperation. Hother ZO2, like the refine, is kinda just brute forcing damage. Speed and defense debuffs, exposure for 10 true damage, and then Nanna retains her attack scaling true damage. This isn't anything bad, but Nanna still relies on desperation for safety. She also did not upgrade her Kanto effect, which is honestly kinda disappointing, not even Kanto to minimum. In terms of playstyle, Nanna has added some support perks in the form of Low, Hexblade, -7 speed and defense, and Exposure. These are great for team play, but for personal combat, she didn't really expand upon her DR piercing niche, when now would be the time to update its effects. There are so many unpierceable percent DR sources, and it would have been kinda neat to see Nanna try and counter those somehow. All she's really doing is going for a brute force, pure damage approach. That's what kinda everyone else has to do, which is fine, but I was hoping for something a bit more interesting. Now, for builds, if you're relying on desperation, then Nanna needs to outspeed, so stacking more attack and speed would be the play. If you're facing Black Knight, maybe you want to stack some defense. If you go with attack and speed, those would increase her 2 true damage sources, and then you can run Blue Skies for another +8 true damage with some flat DR. Nanna can use Haze Slice plus Excel, but her refine gave 0 defensive perks. The sad part about running Blue Skies is that Nanna can actually use the Kanto 2 from that skill. She also can't proc Haze Slice with a basic desperation double since she lacks slaying. You would still need Heavy Blade. As part of her remix, Nanna received even attack wave N, +6 attack buffs for allies are good. If you win an attack check, you will also get +5 true damage and 5 HP healing. You can also get another 6 attack on even number turns. It's not a bad free skill, but Nanna could also just use attack and speed inside home, +6 attack and speed buffs plus extra stats. For other skills, you could use Fatal Smoke for anti-healing and Miracle. Flare to Slice with Sparrow can be used for instant damage or true damage. For obvious reasons, Nanna would love Brave attacks from Erica or other sources. From allies, any kind of attack and speed buffing or cooldown support would be appreciated. More true damage also wouldn't hurt. Overall, Legendary Nanna did get a decent amount of new firepower. It's just a little boring that her original niche didn't really get updated. Definitely not a bad refine plus remix, but you really want Brave attacks or try to avoid hardy bearing matchups. Mythic Embla is ready to close off enemies, and she's improved her own combat as well. Starting with her Remix Severance plus C skill, Embla gets an altered fortune effect. If a foe is within 3 rows or columns, she will transform, and she can do so immediately in 8th rates defense. Like before, at start of turn, foes within 3 rows or columns are inflicted with undefended and feud statuses. Embla herself will then cleanse penalties and gain the dodge status. Last up, if transformed or the foe is healthy, Embla gets +5 attack and speed, 7 true damage, and pre-impulses -1 instant cooldown. For the most part, Severance keeps its old perks and gets buffed with a fortune type effect, which then activates bonus stats, true damage, and cooldown. The easier transformation effect is going to be nice for new skills Embla can also use. Moving on to Enclosing Claw, this 60-mite slang weapon got slight buffs. If above 25% health, Embla gets +5 to all stats, and inflicts debuffs on the foe equal to the number of foes within 3 rows or columns times 3. If there are 3 foes in range, she inflicts -9 debuffs max. Further effects, Embla now gets full no follow-up, no guard, and she inflicts guard on the foe. Previously, Embla needed to fight with 2 enemies in range to get no follow-up and guard. That is no longer the case. The debuffs are still tied to enemy density though, you're going to lose some stats once enemies start dying off. For the refined portion, each player or enemy phase, if above 25% HP, Embla inflicts -7 speed and defense, discord, and schism onto the closest foe plus any foes within 2 spaces. If transformed or above 25% health, Embla will get a staggering +2 to all stats, low attack speed and defense, true damage equal to 20% speed, and last 7 flat damage reduction from first attacks. Embla now inflicts 4 penalties onto the enemy along with speed and defense debuffing. Schism is pretty annoying on a defense since it can neutralize triangle attack or dual strike strategies abusing Emblem Lin, along with Undefended to mess with saviors and Feud to mess with aura drive boss. Embla will continue to be annoying if you can't escape her grasp. For playstyle, combat-wise, Embla got great upgrades. The Fortune type transformation bonus allows her to position easier next to humans. She can also get the 40% DR from Nimble Beast without doing a speed check, and she gets Kanto via Bestial Assault. Embla gets Bestial Assault as part of her remix because with full no follow-up, now her old beast agility is no longer useful. With the new B skill, Embla gets 40% speed scaling true damage, 50% DR piercing, and near trace 4 Kanto. Not bad. As for Nimble Beast, if you can get it, then Embla will get it charged up after her first attack. This means the 40% DR will be active when taking a counterattack, and Embla can proc it on her follow-up. If you want to run Desperation from say Trample or Aerial Maneuvers, then she can still trigger the special without getting hits. If you go with a 2 cooldown Fierce Beast or something, then Embla will just ready those immediately. You may need some extra cooldown, but for her cooldown perks, Embla could also proc the higher 4 or 5 cooldown specials as well. For other skills, her default clash is fine, but obviously Excel is really nice for extra flat DR stacking. You could run other B skills like Momentum, but I think Bestial Assault is largely fine to keep. For more supportive builds, Embla could run Detect, maybe use that new Makai ring. She can also use her Sacred Seal slot for all the other flyer mobility skills, Flyer Formation, Guidance, Orders, Warping Boss, lots of tricky maneuvering for defense teams. All in all, Mythic Embla's refined and remix is alright, more debuffing support is nice, and Schism is really good if the enemy team isn't ready. While Undefended and Feud are strong, Embla is still limited to that 3 row or column range. I would say Elm is potentially a stronger undefended unit, but in terms of Aether raids, obviously they're going to play in different seasons. If you want another undefended support that can always hit at least one enemy, then you may want to pay attention to our last unit. The last refine for this month goes to Fallen Dimitri. Unlike his 3 houses rival, this Dimitri kinda fell flat on release. I believe he's also banned from appearing in PvE modes like Fallen Edelgard, but I don't think anyone would say he deserves to be in that same category. Now, with this refine though, I think Fallen Dimitri might actually deserve some respect now. The most recent Lance Infantry Dimitri is a pure offensive unit, and he's gonna stick to that formula. He has a unique B skill called Murderous Line, which grants near trace 3 Kanto and can prevent counterattacks. It's not the worst skill, but damage-wise we can definitely do better, and there is an interesting replacement that can deny counterattacks too. Before we get to that, Vengeful Lance got a huge overhaul. It grants +3 attack, and if initiating or when solo, Dimitri gets +6 attack and speed, and neutralizes attack and speed debuffs. Dimitri will deal true damage equal to X% of his attack stat during combat. If he cannot make a follow-up, Dimitri will deal 50% attack as true damage, otherwise it's his normal 25% attack atrocity true damage. Next, if you're using an offensive special, Dimitri gets cooldown -Y before his first attack. If he cannot make a follow-up or he doesn't have a brave attack, he will get -2 cooldown. If Dimitri hits multiple times, he's only going to get -1 instant cooldown. Vengeful Lance is much different from before. Dimitri gets Atrocity and Pre-Impulse, and doubles the effects if his follow-up is denied. 50% attack scaling true damage is insane, and take notice that Dimitri can get that scaling even with brave attacks, like from Emblem Erica. He only gets the 25% attack scaling if he follows up. As for the instant cooldown part though, any brave attacks will always make Dimitri get -1 cooldown instead of -2. That's alright, the double atrocity true damage is already insane. Moving on, for the refined part, at start of turn, if above 25% health, Dimitri inflicts -7 speed and defense, panic, and undefended onto the closest foe and any foes within 2 spaces. He gets accelerated specials, and in combat, Dimitri gets more attack and speed equal to 6 plus 10% of his flat speed stat. If he triggers his special, Dimitri will also get 100% DR piercing. The base Vengeful Lance was pretty spicy, and the refine adds more stat advantages plus full DR piercing specials to go with the instant cooldown. With the new sling, that means Dimitri has more special options now. These are all good perks, but getting an AoE undefended effect is actually pretty huge. Savior is such a problem, and undefended is very rare. Even if he's not killing the main tank himself, Dimitri opens up the enemy team to being sniped without the protection of their saviors. It's not as powerful as Elm's undefended being inflicted in the middle phase, but still, very nice ability to get on a refine. In terms of a normal build, you just want to stack all the attack. Dimitri could rock Speed Taker for no guard and true damage. If he's gonna quad, then you could charge 3 Kono specials on the second Brave hit, or instantly charge them if he only hits 1 time. Now, if you want to go for the Fallen route, then Dimitri can use Summer Lapis' Pulse Tempest to recharge his special and get 3 movement. The other 3 movement options are Assault Rush, which has attack buffs and its own -1 instant cooldown. Borrow that from Edelgard to instantly charge 3 Kono specials. Now, if you have Creation Pulse, you could actually charge 4 Kono specials like Dragon Fang or Astra. If you actually want to retreat after attacking though, you're going to need something like Brittle Tempest or a Legendary Sakura type Rescuer. For another playstyle, you could do an AoE specials with Momentum, stack flat attack, and try to get -1 cooldown from say Times Pulse Echo or something. If you use Gust or Haze Slice, Dimitri gets some % DR, but keep in mind his weapon gives 0 extra protection, so don't expect anything crazy. There are some other ways to go about survivability, such as No Fall plus Sweep, or Desperation, or Murderous Lion. However, I think this refine is most interesting when we get that double Atrocity 50% attack scaling true damage. Normally, things like Potent Finish or Slice with Sparrow would be awesome, but again, certain tanks you might not even leave a mark without the extra true damage. Normally, quad attacking is better than 2 Brave hits, but it's not a guarantee to reach that point now, and if tanks have a no-see disrupt effect, then Dimitri has to get the KO or they're gonna shred him back. To get the 50% attack scaling true damage, we can purposefully run Wind or Water Sweep to deny Dimitri's own follow-up. It sounds kinda silly, cause it is, but this is basically the equivalent of 25% attack true damage, and maybe the sweep skills will deny follow-up. There are some flaws with this plan. You could run Speed Taker or Potent Finish and get those true damage parts with other good effects. It really just comes down to how much those other effects match the 25% attack true damage. Some other issues for Dimitri is that attack debuffing is extra effective against him. He also must be using Brave attacks or this plan doesn't get the full value. Sure, the 1 hit can maybe charge a special, but does that outdamage 2 hits with the extra true damage scaling? Regardless of your game plan, Fallen Dimitri is kind of an all or nothing unit. He ain't that different from Nanna. Trying to stack as much attack as possible and stack other true damage support effects like Exposure. Also, try to consider how Dimitri is going to retreat, because after I would not rely on him surviving an enemy phase fight. It will require extra support, but this refine gives some hope at least at denting those crazy tanks. At the least, Dimitri has his neat undefended support to maybe avoid certain matchups. That will be it for part 2 of the update 9.7 refines. Let me know your thoughts and have fun with the new skills. If you missed part 1, we covered Aelfric, Luthier, Pent, and Nearest Caden. Next up, I'm going to be going over the second summer banner in FEH. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.